these catches are different. This catch and predator world is fucking new. I mean, I've been doing this for 5 years. I put my fucking life on the line. Been through it all. Got shot together. Went to jail together and everything. Go to the police. Let the police handle it. Like you said, there's thousands of victims that contact me that went to the police that didn't get the help they received. So you're telling me it's fucked up, but then to leave it to you?
10 years of abuse. Started at 5.
Right.
And then be told by the system no. Like, that's a case for a jury.
Ages from 11 to 13, men trying to meet with these kids, and this one guy who was going to jail the next day for actually molesting a child who had done it to 2 other children was saying, like, yelling in our faces, like he wanted to do it one more time, and just like, so the jury's gonna see that, and they're gonna, oh, this guy's guilty. You can tell he's guilty. You can tell this girl's hurt and harmed, when all you gotta do is ask a motherfucker a question and look at him in the fucking eye and record it, and then let the people decide. We don't, if we're working just for arrest, we leave Columbus, Ohio. Columbus, Ohio is fucked, in my opinion. But
City of Columbus, you bastards.
yeah, we'll get on them.
Welcome back to the dark underbelly, and we have a special guest today in the dark underbelly studios, tunneled here in the El Chapo tunnel by underground. He's a free man, and we're happy that he is out and doing the good work that he does. Friend of the channel, someone I've gotten to know well over the last couple years that I've worked with, the thinner half of Dads Against Predators, Jay Carnicom. Welcome to the DU studios.
Thank you for having me, man. It's fucking lovely studios in here. Very impressed, and thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely.
Nice seeing you again.
Well, I think a lot of people are happy you're out, that you had gotten into some issues over the last couple of weeks and gotten taken care of for the most part. And thanks to a lot of you did a good job. A lot of your supporters got your back for the most part.
For sure. Shout out to the supporters. I'm so blessed. Honestly, that was one of the things that, going while I was in jail, a lot is happening. But very quickly I realized, just talking to one of my best friends who was really helping me out. Number one, great people that are my immediate friends and family who stepped up. Blessed to have them in my corner. And then just the outpour of supporters, of people who, don't know me, but just support my work, and who always have said things like, we got you if you ever go to jail or something, and then they show up, you know what I'm saying? So to see that was just an eye-opener. Like, I mean, I already knew it, but, to a certain degree, it just went, obviously when you're going through that, and the real test is kind of shown, you're in jail. I don't really expect, like, I'm not like, well, I'm waiting for them to give me some money.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then, like, I'm just in jail. I can only make like one phone call a day. So I'm calling, or 15 minutes, I think it was. So, to figure out that that's happening is so crazy. So I'm very blessed and just so grateful for everybody.
Well, that's great. Yeah, they really stepped up, and you're not one. I've been on a number of catches and predator catches. I've come to know a few catchers, observed a lot of them. You're one of the few people where it's not natural for you to ask for any help. I mean, it actually took a while for people to set up this fund that you had, and so it's like, it's cool to see that you are one of the few that you basically earn your whatever you get from ad revenue or locals and stuff, but you're not out begging for money at all. And it's so cool that people, I think, realize that. And it's like, I think you were even hesitant to put something out there. I think,
my buddy did it, and I mean, I would still be in there if it wasn't. So like, I could just talk all day. We could talk for hours, man, about how blessed I am and how grateful I am for every supporter. I'm gonna try my best to message everybody back and, say my thanks to everybody individually, but just overall, like, I would still be in there if it wasn't for them. If I didn't get a lawyer to get the bond that I didn't have, if it wasn't for them, I would still be in there for a couple more weeks.
Well, and that's what's like, the system is just, we were talking about this earlier, just like how people get picked out, and if you got money, if you got a lawyer, I mean, people say that money doesn't bring you happiness, but it can bring you freedom. It can
Yeah.
bring you a really good lawyer. And, you know, the fact that many people have to deal with the system with no lawyer, with no money.
Yeah.
And they just got to, whatever bullshit the state says about them, whatever bullshit the cops say about them, they're stuck in jail waiting for months because they don't have, I know people that didn't have $100 to get out. And so it's like, it's kind of ridiculous. But I'm glad that you're out, because you're actually out doing some really good stuff, and all over the country, I guess, right? Is that how many states do you think you've hit, Jay? Roughly.
I mean, close to 35, 40, but you know what I mean. I'm not exactly sure, but pretty much everywhere. I probably caught a predator in damn near every state.
Nebraska?
Yeah, Nebraska.
We can talk about that. So we have a little history from the great state of Nebraska. Yeah. We went out to help a survivor of abuse. This was a woman who had contacted you, and you had put out there, and we can get into how some of your most meaningful catches are the ones that you have, very few of them though, just a couple, where you've actually helped a survivor go and confront their abuser. Mm-hmm. And in fact, that's your kind of story of, you know, you kind of set the standard for that, where you confronted, there was no violence. Mm-hmm. You just put a mirror up in front of your abuser. Yeah. And you said, hey, take a look at yourself.
Right.
And he took a look at himself, and he
killed himself.
did what he needed to do. But isn't that crazy though, that he lived with that for so long? Right. Perfectly happy. Yeah. But the minute that he's confronted about it, the minute that someone else knows about it, that secret, he couldn't deal with it. Yeah. But it's like all of these people that go out and do this stuff, they're living with those secrets. And it's like they're in society, they're popular teachers, they're coaches, exactly. They're women, they're men, they're everybody, they're out there. And it preys upon the secretiveness that the victims don't want to talk about this, especially boys, especially men. Right. Don't want to talk about it at all.
Because who knows what they got going on at that time, you know, that they're getting called out or whatever for it. Because it's just like pulling the worst piece, you know, in Jenga. Like, you just pulled the worst piece. Now everything's crumbling down, because the minute I did that, now, you know, and that's something that I didn't anticipate. But once I did that, you know, so many people came out and said, you know, he did this very similar things. And, you know, you just get information. Just people start coming out with stories and things that happened that they didn't voice because, you know, they, for whatever reason, you know, maybe they weren't believed, or, you know, he told a lie, or he did go to one of the victims did go to the police, and then they put him back. He was like in care with him, like in like child care with him. They put him back in the possession, like in Steve's house, like after he told on him for doing whatever. And so the system fails. You know what I mean? The system fails all the time, and this happens to people, and then they just, you know, they just need a little bit of motivation, or just someone that they think can help, or just someone to listen to. And that's how it started with me. Just first telling Josh, who I give you know, a lot of props to, and just for helping me through that, like being there to listen to me. That's just what it starts with, you know, talking about it, getting it out, and then, you know, dealing with it.
It's inspirational, and I think that you and Josh helped a friend of yours too confront someone at church who was a church-going man. Yeah,
he wasn't a friend, but he was just somebody that had seen my video and that reached out, and you know, he knew him and his cousins had dealt with, you know, similar instances, and he was a church-going man. He was like a dispatcher for the sheriff's department and everything, and you know, that opened up. I'm not exactly sure how it happened, but once we called him out and everything, I think the cousins, or I'm not like I said, I'm not exactly sure, but they came forth because the family had been trying to get help from the police, and they were like, can't do nothing. And I think maybe once we did that video and he kind of got exposed, other people came forward with stuff, and he went to jail. He went to prison for like sex crimes against children, I believe.
Well, that another good sort of story about how when you show them a mirror basically of their own life and how quickly things change, like again, for the victims, and particularly, with boy, it's something that I cover on my channel a lot is male victims, both victims of men and women. It's like you get hit twice as a boy when you become a man. Yeah. If you're a boy and you get molested by a woman and you say anything about it, everybody calls you gay. Yeah. If you're a boy and you're molested by a man and you say anything about it, you're called gay. Yeah. So you get hit twice with this tag. Right. And even like we're in the 21st century, that's not even like a hurt tag anymore. But people still use that, and people think they're funny, but they use that to keep you quiet. Right. And why do they do that? And that's something that I've always interested, that like all these people that are hate predators and everything, but the minute some male victim says a thing, they're attacked from start to finish, and that goes for if they're abused by a woman or a man, and it's got to stop if we want people to be open about what's going on.
Exactly. I think that has something to do with like masculinity, or like just like, you know what I mean, like because like I remember a lot of conversations growing up. Up until I called out my childhood predator, to where I was able to have a different stance on it and to be open about it. But that was very hard, for so long. But up until that point, like, I would be in rooms with people, friends and everything, and like they would talk about maybe somebody getting molested. And then like the theme with everybody, it would be different groups, it didn't matter, different friend groups, but all males pretty much have the same agreement. So like, that shit ain't gonna happen to me. Like, hell no, I wouldn't let that happen to me. No way. Yeah. So like, to speak out against it is like, damn, how you let that happen to you? Type shit. Right, yeah. And so, that's obviously not cool. What I mean? That's hard to face. Like thinking you were gonna say something about it and people are gonna look at you that way. Like, how'd you let that happen?
Yeah, it can happen to anyone, and the tactics that, you're dealing with an adult versus a kid, right? A kid mind versus an adult mind. And someone that has an adult mind that has been, in for years, grooming,
puts himself in a position to manipulate you.
Yeah, the adult predator has already manipulated the people around a kid. Right. They've gone in. They're the boyfriend that comes in with a mom that's got 3 kids. She's a single mom, and he goes after. And he pretends like he's a hero.
Right. This guy would say, my predator, he would be in my house talking to my mom for, 15 minutes sometimes, dropping me off. Like, he would talk to my mom's husband, my stepdad. Like, yeah, he would
and that's what you could see, like, priests probably would do. They've manipulated a whole adult congregation. Right. And then it's, whatever they want to do from there with the kid, because then people trust them.
Exactly. And it happens all different types of ways. This is just one of the ways that, it can happen to somebody. It can, because what I'm describing, what happened to me is something that happened. It didn't just happen. Like, he did this over time. Like, and he did this for years and to many other people the same way. Like, he didn't just do it in one day, one night. You know what I'm saying? He got in there. Like, he was very good at what he did. He was elaborate. Like, there could be a movie on this motherfucker on how he did shit and how sick, and just how weird. When I look back at certain things, I'm like, God damn, that was weird.
Even now you look at it.
Yeah, I'm like, I got to think about things that happened and shit. I'm like, this motherfucker was crazy weird. Like, so and manipulative, and like people, he was charming to people. And so that happens in a lot of ways. Like, that's one way. And then a lot of ways, like, it seems to me, young girls, that it happens to maybe like their mom's boyfriend or just somebody in the family, or just whatever, however, their moms don't believe them. And so that's almost just like, I don't know what's worse. Probably I would think that had to tell your mom and for her not to listen to you. And so that's one of the most, other than the manipulative, that's one of the most common ones that just hurts to hear. Yeah. So bad, and just makes me want to help and do things for these people.
Well, that's right. And the system failed a lot of people, and it failed our victim in Nebraska for her whole life. Yeah, it failed her, and she did go to the police. Yeah, Child Protective Services did come in and talk to her, and we went out, we looked at all of the case, we validated a lot of her information she gave us. Yep. And it's one of the ways that we've collaborated is we put together, I guess you would say, a sting operation.
Yeah.
And the most, we like the idea. I think you really like the idea. The predator was a stepfather in his own environment, which I think was the special part of it, which was a couple hundred bikers at their annual sort of gathering in somewhere in Nebraska. And you have said, we have not released anything out of respect for, and I want to thank Jay for, we have footage that would easily go viral, but out of respect for the victim, we've respected their privacy and their wishes.
Yep.
And we'll probably be releasing some footage around the catch at some point. This was last year. But you said it was one of your most sort of satisfying catches. Is that true? That experience?
Yeah, 100%. That was, like I said, when I called my predator out, that was different. When the one you referred to at the church, when we helped that guy, these catches are different. Like those are way different than a regular catch. Like other than helping assisting sexual assault survivors, like the only thing that even comes close to it is when this one guy who was going to jail the next day for actually molesting a child who had done it to 2 other children was saying, like, yelling in our faces, like he wanted to do it one more time, and just like, you know what I mean? A lot of times they don't get that graphic and that detailed, and you don't know that there's a real victim. So it's a little different. And talking with this girl for a year and listening to her story, that for one, it's not easy to talk to. It's not like this is just something that people want to talk about every day.
Sure.
And want to talk to just to anybody about, or for anybody to know. And so listening to her and going through her story, and then meeting her, and then just understanding how much pain, like you said, how much pain she was in, and like how scared she was from him, like seeing him out in public because they live in the same area, and the police not helping, and
police not doing anything. And
then,
anything. Once they close a case, it's like they take a look at a case, and then a prosecutor wakes up one day and is in a bad mood and decides not. I mean, that's literally, I feel, how sometimes this stuff is. It's like one guy or one woman, one detective that thinks you're credible versus one detective that may not think or doesn't have the evidence, or gets scared, or worried about their pension, or worried about whatever. And then one prosecutor. It just seems like our system is run by, let a jury decide.
Yeah.
Why is there this barrier after barrier after barrier? Like, if you don't believe my story 100%, let a jury decide.
Yeah.
That's what I would say as a victim advocate.
Right.
Not these gatekeepers to the system. And they are gatekeepers. And you can experience from all different sides of it, these gatekeepers that on one side, these I am the law. Like, that's what they're the creation. Like, exactly. I am the law. That's how they view their job, basically.
Exactly.
There's no law. It's all subjective.
Yeah, you can be in trouble for having a little bit of weed, or, not paying your fines or something like that.
Or not having the right tent.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
I can tell you a little. Well,
we'll get there. But
City of Columbus, you bastards.
Yeah, we'll get on them. But fucking just seeing the weight lifted off. It was similar with how I felt, and then watching Logan was his name after he called his predator out at the church, like the difference in being with him, and then the difference immediately after the catch, to see the difference in how they're smiling and looking and everything, and to watch to hear talk about it, and immediately before we did it, see how scared she was, and I know exactly how scary that is. Like, when I called out my predator, I would circle his house. I would go by. Like, I tried to do it a lot of times before, and I could have waited outside the house a little longer and done a little more, but I probably talked myself out, and I'll do it another day, because it's scary. It's very scary to do, and I could see going through that. Like, well, maybe we'll just do it later. You know what I mean? I'm like, nah, like, we're gonna go in here and do it. And she fucking took that leap of faith, and she did that shit, and she stood up to him. And just how you're saying, why y'all letting, like, put him in front of a jury? Because when we put him up to questioning, when we brought him outside, when I told him hey, we gotta, I told him, hey, there's a girl who said you raped her. We're gonna go outside and talk about this. When we went out there, you could see how scared he was and how he didn't know what to say.
Sure, yeah.
He was lying straight to her. I don't even know who you are. He said, this is your stepdaughter. This has been your stepdaughter for 20 years, 15 years or whatever. So the jury's going to see that. And they're going to, oh, this guy's guilty. You can tell he's guilty. You can tell this girl's hurt and harmed versus it's not fucking hard to see. And so that's why I'm happy with what you do. I'm glad that you you did your checks and balances before with the police.
So that was an experience going out to Nebraska. I think we did a great job. I had not experienced anything like that. In full disclosure, I was, Jay, and we had Detective Christy with us, who came with us on the trip. Yep. Shout out to her. Christy, she's a warrior. She actually did a lot of the very delicate work of background, talking with the victim about her story. So you owe me a phone call, Detective Christy, wherever you're at. You've owed me a phone call for a couple months now. But anyway, she was with us, but the environment was crazy.
Yeah,
it was crazy. I mean, you're talking about 300 or 400 people that are bikers, and you don't know how it could go. And you all had gone up. I kind of got caught up at the front door and sort of got confronted. The victim herself was in no mood to be confronted. She had what she wanted to do. Once she made a decision to do this, there was no stopping her. But
she was on.
You don't know how something like this goes. I mean, it could go any way. I mean, we were at this guy's environment. This was his world.
Right.
And we rocked his world. And that's something the police could never do.
Like you're saying, it's great. It'd be great in a perfect world if they came and arrested child predators like we all know they should. We wouldn't be doing this. We wouldn't be not calling the police. We've called the police. I've done this for years and years, trying to call the police, in places like Columbus, Ohio, where I've caught 5 guys, and 5 times in a row we tried to call the police. And every single time they came, we had from ages from 11 to 13, men trying to meet with these kids in different spots from showing up to their houses, sting catches, to meeting at Kroger's. And every single time, saying sexual things, saying nasty things, just the craziest stuff. And just to be separated, for him to go one way and us to go another way, and being told basically because we're not police officers, we're not law enforcement, or because he didn't actually, not even that, you know what I'm saying? It's not even all the time that, it's because he didn't actually, there's not an actual real child there. And so now are we supposed to leave Columbus alone? We now know Columbus, they just told us they're not doing shit. They're not trying to catch child predators. They're trying to catch guys speeding.
With
intent, right? And they're not catching child predators. So now if we're working just for arrest, we leave Columbus, Ohio. Columbus, Ohio is fucked, in my opinion. If the citizens of Columbus don't stand up and do something, there's going to be shit happening there, and the police aren't going to do nothing about it. And I think most of the people know that, and that's not just Columbus, Ohio. That's a lot of places in the world where we show up, and even when and sometimes we show up and the police are cool, and they do try their best to get the guy arrested, and then sometimes they act like they want to, and then they tell us every time the same thing. Yeah, we know the law isn't perfect. We know. We wish we could do this. We wish we could do that. But since you guys aren't ICAC, you can't do this and it's wrong and just leave it to us. So you're telling me it's fucked up, but then to leave it to you. Right, so I think people are just tired of that shit. Just like the victims who go to the police, like all the people that tell me, go to the police, just let the police handle it. Like you said, there's thousands of victims that contact me that went to the police that didn't get the help they received. And that's where, like I said, I'm thankful for you for doing that due diligence and basically calling out the law, going through the law's chest and saying, you guys fucking failed and we're about to come in. Because I've done that too many times, and I don't like dealing with the police and when they're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
And we're going to show up, unlike the police, like you said, in that biker bar or at the church, wherever the fuck we need to, and we're going to show up for this person. We're going to show up and face that shit, and then we'll see what happens. Let's see the response. If I'm yet to go to somebody and for them to act not guilty.
Right.
Like that guy act guilty as fuck. The guy at the church literally said, "Shh, don't talk about this now."
Not right now.
He said, "Not right now." Why are you?
I'm not a kid anymore.
Why are you talking about this?
Yeah.
And the guy at the biker place in Nebraska literally says, "Kids lie about this type of stuff all the time." After saying, "I don't know who this person is," just lying, one lie after lie after lie after lie after lie, and we're just continuously asking, "Why are you like? Just tell the truth." They can't tell the truth.
Yeah.
And it's like the police have to jump through all these hoops and do all this fucking weird shit, and when all you gotta do is ask a motherfucker a question and look at him in the fucking eye and record it, and then let the people decide.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that might say, "Oh, he's guilty," or "You're a piece of shit. Leave it to the cops." Y'all are all weird. Fuck y'all. Yeah. Because there's real victims out here that have really been through some shit, that have really gone through a lot of shit and tried their best to get help, and they haven't gotten no fucking help. And y'all ain't helping them a damn bit by saying, "Let the police do it." The police aren't doing it. So you're disrespecting them 100% by saying that. So you continue to let the police do it and watch not shit be happening. Or maybe your police is fucking excellent and shout out to them. Either way, I'm good. I'm down for it. If your police is great, if they're helping out and they're you know what I mean, they're willing to do what they got to do, then that's great. We're going to leave them alone. We're not going to, when we first started catching predators, me and Josh, we caught in Tiffin, Ohio. We caught like a couple predators there. The police tried their best to do what they needed to do. And since then, they catch predators all the time there. You know what I'm saying? They stepped up. They're doing their thing, and we're not going to go there. I'm pretty sure they got it handled. So this is just like, the law doesn't do everything for everybody. Sometimes we need to stand up against the fucking law and just take matters into our own hands. That's what we're doing. That's what we do. We're not scared to go into that biker place because God's got us. Like, we're doing something out of the good of our heart. We're trying to help people change their lives and change their like I said, like the weight that's lifted off their shoulders is why I urge everybody that's, you know what I mean, that's been molested, that's been through something like that, or maybe that your kid does, because mothers are going through it just as much when they're, sometimes when their child's messed with and they find out, you know what I mean? So if you're going through it, speak out. You have to speak out. You have to get it off your chest, because that's the one thing that makes it different, is seeing an actual victim, blossom, basically, and defeat that barrier.
So, City of Columbus, you say? Well, I have some personal experience with the City of Columbus, actually. So, some of the work that I do on my channel for the Dark Underbelly is public records requests. So I go to a lot of police departments and try to squeeze public records out from their claws. Yeah. And it's eye-opening how much they are so ego and arrogant, and they just exemption. No, that's exempt. Nope, you can't get that. Who's to say? You need to have a lawyer, and you need to go work that and have $25,000 to try to get this stuff from what should be public records. So the audience and folks out there think that your government is open access, that your government's going to work. They're going to catch all the predators, and they're going to arrest people when they're bad guys. No, they don't. They just don't in a lot of cases. That's their realm to decide who's bad and who's not. Yep. That's their realm to decide, in this case, public records and what we're going to release and what we put. So City of Columbus, in January of this year, I requested body camera footage from a social worker who had abused a 12 or 13-year-old boy. Her name was Peyton Shires. I'd requested this in January. They had charged me a fee. They took a long time to get me just the actual report, 2 months. And then just the other day, I get the body camera of this predator who had shown up to the house of the boy's mother that she was abusing with a gun to kill the mom and herself. This is the challenges that boys kind of encounter that maybe girls that are abused don't necessarily. You don't see a lot of men showing up to the house of their victims, with a gun. They're going to get their head blown off. They know that. Peyton getting her head blown off. She was going there to kill the mom because she was feeling like it was the mom's fault. Because, the boys will never say anything about this. It's the mom that's putting me in this bind. It's the mom pressuring her son because boys keep secrets. Boys keep this quiet. Yeah. So she was going to kill him. So I had wanted that body camera footage. And she has since been sentenced to 4 years. This is in Columbus. Just the other day, they sent me the body camera.
Okay.
I pull up the file.
Nice.
Okay,
That's nice of them.
10 months later, I had paid $100 for it. 10 months later, they send it to me. Thank God. Thank you, City of Columbus.
Yeah.
So I pull it up to see, I'm getting ready to see all these camera footage of this woman being grabbed and prevented from killing the mom of the victim and herself, further traumatizing the kid. I'm ready to see him in action and work. I pull it up. No. It's some black man being dragged out of his car and basically assaulted by 4 officers. And what was his crime? They were checking his window tint, and he wasn't being cooperative. So the dichotomy of they sent me the wrong records.
Right.
The dichotomy in our world in which a white female I was looking for who abused a boy. I was looking for that body camera of her being treated like a predator. And what I get is a black man being dragged out of his car and assaulted by 9 officers.
Like a fucking dog.
Because he didn't have enough tent.
Yeah.
And that is like the work of what I like to do with my channel.
Of fucking shit.
Just the worlds collide like that. And I'm not making this about race. I'm just giving you the races. The races are a white female predator.
Right.
Probably a Karen-like woman who calls the cops on everyone but is abusing a boy. Black man had too much tent, and they actually had the measuring. They didn't even know if it was too much tent until they
beating the shit out of them.
That was the records I got.
Yeah.
So as I'm looking for the woman being, and so anyway, thank you, City of Columbus. You owe me a refund, and I want those records. But anyway, I'll get them. We'll get them in 2026.
Yeah,
it'll be a Christmas gift. But it's fascinating to me that people that criticize you want to judge you without actually putting in the work and talking to the people that you talk to and the stuff that you've gone to, as if you haven't been there, done that.
Right. And
people want to sit in couch catches, I would call it.
Right.
And judge you.
Yeah, there's a lot though. There's plenty of those guys, and who knows? They've probably seen just one video and then are making assumptions and then messaging me. I only think it's sometimes when they really have watched all my shit or been keeping track. Maybe some of them do. Whatever. Either way, like we were talking about earlier, a lot of times the obvious assumption is he's a child predator. I wouldn't say all of them are child predators like you were alluding to earlier. They're probably jealous. It's probably jealousy to see I have a lot of followers. So then they're like, you're doing this for views and you're a piece of shit. I'd beat you up. You look like a predator and this and that. And it's like, why are you messaging me right now, bro? You're lame.
Well, that's kind of what...
You're wasting your time messaging me.
You were just telling me all, very prominent people that you interact with sometimes. Mm. And it's like you treated me, and I've seen you treat the victim in Nebraska and Detective Christie and my friends and my colleagues. You treat us almost better than sometimes. Even these super famous celebrities that have contacted you and interacted with you. And I think that's what people don't see. That's what people don't hear about.
Right.
And I think that's missed in a lot of what you do isn't easy. And being a personality and being someone online that putting yourself out there is a nasty business.
Yeah.
Because you get to have people judge you. But I would just say that, from the jealousy aspect, that it does come from that. But I didn't know that it was... Like, I would mock Tommy for some of the stuff that he would do and say because it was funny and entertaining to me. I wasn't like... Yeah. But, I mean, you've had some people have done some vicious things to him and probably, have tried to do things in people's real life. And it's like, that's where I think it's getting crazy as far as, like... Yeah. I don't know if that's jealousy anymore. I think that there's something different with that.
Yeah. I appreciate you for saying that about me. That means a lot. And... kind of goes like for both, like I'm not gonna like try to tell people about how genuine I am or how good you know what I mean, about how I treat everybody the same. And I'm not gonna go in with these guys and talk about and tell every single one about all the work I've done and all the people I've talked to, because sometimes I do. Sometimes I wake up and it's just like, I don't know if it's me. I mean, I know it's a lot of people, but I could be better. You can be better. But when I'm looking through messages, sometimes it's like I just fucking find the nasty ones right away. Like I'll see the nice ones, but for some reason those mean ones just stand out, and I'll click on them sometimes, and I don't do it a lot, like at all, but sometimes I will, and I'll just read it, and I'm just like I'll go to respond and to tell them everything, and you know what I mean. I'll just see how I could start. I'll look at it and see how I would start messaging them, and I'm just thinking about all the things I could say, and I'm like, why would I do that? What would be the point to send him that one thing? I'm just gonna keep doing my thing. You know what I'm saying? It's great, like all the bad stuff, all the weird messages and the weird things that have happened, people trying to, you know, just do weird, different shit. It's, you know, it's just a part of the fucking game. Like it's a part of it. It comes with all and like I said, there's one or two dirty messages and nasty messages for 8 thank yous and stuff like that. So those, you know what I mean? That's just going to come with it. But those people that are saying thank you and, you know, you helped me for this or that, or just God bless what you do, like that keeps me going so much more. And
well, I have a thing on for my channel is I actually read every single comment. So I have and no matter what people say, as long as you don't dox, I have it held, and then I put it in, let it go, even if you trash me or whatever, as long as it's not something, you know, as long as it's like not doxing or something ridiculous. But to me, I don't know what it's about human beings that we do that though, because do the
mean shit.
No, pick out the negative stuff.
Oh, I don't know why.
When I'm streaming sometimes
you'll
live,
see it,
and I see, hey, how you doing? Dark Underbelly, what's up? And you know, my name was Sam. Sam, what's going on? Sam this, Sam that, and it's like, you know, that was my online name for a while. So
yeah,
you know, how you doing? And then it's like, Sam, you
bitch, whatever, you're a fucking troll, you're this or that.
Yeah, no, and it's like, that's the comment that I get hooked on. And then that's the comment that I can't, it's not that I can't let it go. And I don't even want to say, I would lie if I say it doesn't bother me. Of course it bothers me because I remember it.
Exactly.
But what am I doing giving, you know, what happens is I then miss all the people that were saying
exactly.
Hi to me.
When I come,
all the people that care.
That's
you know?
It's good because a lot of things. This world, this catch and predator world, is fucking new. I mean, there's Chris Hansen that's done it, and before when I started doing it, I didn't know about anybody else besides Pop Squad. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've heard of them, and I was like, oh shit, let's do it. Like me and Josh did it, and so me and him, you know, that's my fucking brother. That's my guy. We've been through it all. Got shot together. Went to jail together and everything. So me and him, like that's my guy that I can talk to and to work things out with. And I can learn from, and he can learn from me, and everything like that. Right. And so I would see him. Josh is a little bit more argumentative than me. I'm a little bit more chill. He, like, you know, obviously you see him from the videos when we would be together. He goes in.
Well, no, I mean, yeah.
It's just natural. That's just natural for him. He's good at arguing. He likes to do that. So when he sees those messages, I don't know if he does it anymore. I don't think he does it anymore because it's bad for you. But he would just go in. We'd be on catch trips early in the morning. He's arguing with people on the phone. I'm like, who are you talking to, bro? He's talking about, come to my house. I'm gonna fuck you up. You know that. I'm like, who are you talking to? He's like, a troll that messaged me. I'm like, bro. And so I would want to do that a little bit, but not to the point to where he would do it. And seeing him do it would automatically make me go, I can't do that. But we can't get into this because then I'm gonna do it every morning. I'm gonna want to do it every morning.
It's time.
And then like he would post, not to shit on Josh. But he would post like
we need to
get
like some ratings on this.
A lot of this is like when somebody would say something, he would use it as like he would post it and be like, "Look what this person's saying. This is why they're wrong, and y'all are fucking stupid." Because I'm getting a lot of these messages, right? So he's attacking an issue. He's being smart and calling these motherfuckers out. But to me, that's hard. It's hard for me to do that. Like, it fucking brings it'll ruin my day. Like you said, I was on kick and somebody just started talking shit. And it made me fucking, like, I'm being honest, because I'm not going to let that shit happen no more. I'm going to be better. But that shit made me like, I was like, fuck. I like got off kick. I was streaming and everything, and they started talking shit and like saying this and that. And like, I just, you know what I mean? If you're not in the right headspace, like, because me and you, we didn't grow up on this. We're fucking, like, first time I got a smartphone, I was like 18 years old. You know what I mean? This is all new. So when someone's talking shit, I think it's just natural for us. But like, I think it does come from like wanting to, you know, just wanting everybody to like understand what you're really trying. And when someone's messaged me this, half the time I'll be like, if I do call this person, like, I won't be like, bitch, what the fuck you talking about? You're weird and da. I'll be like, yo, listen, do you know why I did this? Do you know why I did X, Y, and Z? This is what I tried to do. And then like a lot of times they'll be like, all right, I understand now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
well, no, and that's, well, no, but also I think, you know, I had a guest here. He's caught about 25 predators. I don't know if you know. Sweet Baby Ray. Ray's a good friend, and he's very well built, big guy. You know, very, as they would term it, alpha male. And he has a pretty hard time with the internet sometimes. And he's, you know, my age, a little bit older than you. And he grew up in a world. I grew up in a world. You kind of grew up in the world where everything's done in real life. It's like, exactly. And the things that you can get away with saying in real life are completely different than what you get away with saying to people online. I mean, because you can say, like, you can get away with 10x, 100x, 1000x of saying things with no risk of having someone react. And, you know, I mean, we're well beyond the world in which, you know, 100 years ago, there was the duels. You say something about someone back in the day, that was, you get killed, you go to a duel and get shot. You know, that's history. That's history. Back in the day, you know, a founding of this country was based on, you know, people, you attack somebody's character, and you do that. And it's like, we've evolved so much now where, you know, thousands of people can make all kinds of negative, nasty, defamatory lies, bullshit, opinions that are not based on fact, narratives that are not based on fact. And so we've just come full circle. And now there's no barrier to say that. There's none at all. You ain't gonna sue somebody for defamation on the internet. Good luck. You got $200,000. I mean, how much like the Johnny Depp when he claimed defamation, his girlfriend Amber Heard, cost him like $15 million. That's how much a full trial from say something false about me, which I think she said that he had domestically violence or something. That was just like a defamatory statement, one. And then to get that to trial 6 years later cost him like $5, $10, $15 million. Oh my God. So basically it's the Wild West. Say whatever you want. There's no barrier. You ain't gonna get your ass beat up because you're 1,000 miles away. And then you can interact with people, and then they can draw you in where Josh is arguing early morning with one of his people can actually get attention. It's attention too. I said jealousy. I should actually put it lesser than attention. You know, early on when I wasn't known at all, like trolling Tommy, you get attention from somebody too. You know, and Tommy mistakenly gave me attention. And it got under his skin. The things that I would say got under his skin. And it's just been fascinating that I've evolved into, he's gotten to know me as not the troll as in real life. I've gotten to know him as not the person that people were saying, or even I was saying about it. And so it's like you evolve to get to know people in real life. And it's like, if everybody got to know each other, as you said, once they say something or you clarify something with someone, you gave them attention.
They're like, man, I actually like you, man.
Oh yeah, you're cool, man. You're cool.
Sometimes they do that for sure.
But that takes a lot of time, though.
There's millions
of people that for you to do that.
I've seen Josh do that to 15 dudes. You know what I mean? Early in the morning, like, and they're like, man, you're all right. You know what I mean? It's like, I actually fuck with you, man. I was just playing with you.
Well, I have to give him.
Come on, bro. You're saying crazy shit an hour ago.
No, and that's it. Like. F you, see you next Tuesday. It's just like the things that you can get away, like, and then you're friends again. It's right. It reminds me, I played a lot of soccer when I was younger, and it was just like people would, they'd get into fights, and then
you're friends.
10 minutes later, they're no problem. So it's not
exactly.
But I got to give him credit because that video came out a month or two ago, that all the problems with dads against predators. One of Josh's points was in that video, all the problems of DAP was that they never really used any of your words or his words.
Yeah.
They just basically gave opinion about what they thought of it.
Right.
And also people are missing the fact that there are a lot of departments that are not arresting at all. And so what do we do with that?
Yeah,
there's a lot of, and here's what you all specialize in, which I think is an interesting debate too. The law is very specific. You have to be meeting with a child in order to get an arrest for the purposes or intent of having some type of illicit. What about all these people that are smarter? All the smarter predators that we got out there that know that that's the law.
Right.
And
they
that
know
say,
if they don't say
hey,
this or that.
I can meet with a child to go to the movie.
Yeah, exactly. As long as I
can
don't
meet
say
the child. Hey,
sex.
we can't talk about sex on over the phone.
Yeah, they say it all the time. They say we'll talk about it in person.
We'll talk about it in person.
And so your favorite catchers aren't catching those guys.
They're not.
I'm gonna catch that motherfucker. Why? Because I can look you in the face and ask you why you wanted to have sex with a child. I didn't say I wanted to have sex with a child. Well, then what do you want to do?
Yeah.
You wanted to take them to the movies, or you wanted to play the long game? You don't think I know about motherfuckers manipulating children? I know what you're trying to do. Like I see through that shit. Yeah. If I honestly, I don't think I've ever met one of them that was like, I was just gonna help. Like you're not just gonna fucking help. No one. You said something weird. Like nobody's ever been like, oh, you're a kid. Let me meet you like right now. You know, they always say like we're gonna do this or that. They talk a little bit more. It's not. These guys are weird. They're trying to fucking meet up with a child. So it's the laws and all that shit that everybody wants us to loop through. But at the same time, we ask that same person who says leave it up to the police. Ask them, is the law perfect? Does the law take care of everything great? Yeah. They'll say hell no. They fucking do this and that. So you don't see how that's fucking. You don't see how you're wrong there, buddy? You don't see how you're not making sense there?
Yeah, no, and it's like, exactly. Like, it's a perfect example you just gave, which was everybody has a problem with the law until they want to hate on something that you do, and then the law is perfect. Yeah. Right? Then the police do their job, and they earn their pension.
Yeah, exactly.
And prosecutors don't just make subjective decisions about if they take a case or not. Yeah. No one has yet to explain to me why those 7 victims didn't have their cases prosecuted. No one has. Yeah. I've gotten harassed. Right. I've gotten judged. I've gotten police departments that didn't want to give me records. Oh, that wasn't a case. Oh, we can't give you that. Oh, that's closed. Yeah. Oh, that's confidential. Nobody wanted those 7 cases that I followed. Not one of them wanted to voluntarily give me any information. Hey, you had a victim, alleged victim that said this, and you didn't take the case. Yeah. Why not?
Why not?
Why not? Sorry, we can't talk about that. That's confidential.
Yeah, why not?
They use the laws as shields. Everybody knows this, and yet that's the kind of stuff that you confront all the time. Exactly. And yet people know that. Right. And they still want to, and then they still want to come and hate and say, why don't you work with police? Yeah. We just gave the answer.
Because there was a real fucking child that was molested, and there wasn't enough evidence for them to do anything about it. When I'm going to put a camera in your face and ask you, and that's all the evidence I need. Like when we catch these predators, when we went to do this, like I'm not necessarily just showing up. Like I talked with the victim, and I heard the story. I find them to be believable. I find them to be telling the truth, and I go with that. I thought it was up here for a second. But obviously I believe them because I've talked to them on the phone. I'm not just taking the first call and let's go. I'm hopping in the car. No, I'm talking to you for a little bit. I'm getting to know you. I'm figuring out, you know what I'm saying, how believable and how, like, do I believe the story, yes or no? And so then it continues when I meet you. And then when we go to the fucking, to confront, to the confrontation, to confront the abuser, I'm still trying to figure out what happened. I don't know exactly what happened. Right. So I'm still playing a third party and asking questions, and I'm looking at both their faces to see how true does it look like she's telling the truth? Does it look like, you know what I'm saying? And
100%.
And they're gonna give it to you. Police can't. They got the body camera. Why don't you show up or bring them to court? You know what I mean? Put the jury in front and ask them, take them through some questions. And there's people that that's their job, is to be able to tell, based off body language and all that, right? How if somebody's lying and whatnot. I mean,
yeah,
isn't that true? All right, bring that motherfucker to court. Let's figure out who's lying and who's not, and what the jury thinks, and just what we all think, what everybody in this fucking courtroom thinks. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And like, it's not that hard. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't give you no money. That doesn't earn them any money.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it.
Well,
that's the end of it. Nah, fuck that. We're gonna take this in our own hands. We're coming to get you.
And I would say to people out there, like, what do you have to say about people that are smart, the smart predators? And I kind of deal with the smart predator world because female predators are some of the smartest people out there. They will put nothing in writing. Most women will not. You caught one, I think Beth, the famous Beth.
I've caught a few.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I've caught a few.
And they were hard. They were hard to catch.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't put stuff in, like, you'd have to get them through. And I think Alex has caught maybe 3 or 4.
Yep.
Tommy's caught maybe 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most type, they don't put anything in writing. They have their victims in the community, and they know, how to manipulate the situation. Right. And so when you have the challenge that you have when we try to do this is we don't have the chat logs in front of us.
Yeah.
The police didn't produce the records that we needed to see a transcript from or something like that. We've got to take somebody's statement and we've got to say, can we authenticate this?
Yes.
Can we find this credible? We've got to make the same decisions that I think police and prosecutors make. But in my mind, it's up to the jury to decide who's credible.
Right. I'm going to make
the police and the prosecutors are only taking reports, verify as much information as they can, but they have become the quasi-jurors.
Exactly.
They have become the jurors.
Yeah.
That first initial police officer on beat is a juror.
Right.
The The detective that gets assigned the case is a juror.
Right.
The assigned prosecutor is a juror. All these people can just throw the file out and say, I'm not going to prosecute.
Exactly.
And they don't have to give a reason.
They don't have to give a reason.
And they're not liable. They have complete immunity.
Yeah.
That if a child if that person goes out and commits against another child and something, it's almost like the files disappear.
Yeah.
They don't keep a track of whose cases they didn't.
Right.
Good luck trying. In these 7 cases, there were no charges filed. So there was no files to get.
Yeah.
So if you tried to go back and say one of these 7 predators that abused these kids that I had helped, go back to them and see, that they went and abused somebody else. Go find that original report that other child had done. No charges were filed.
No charges.
We just
filed.
that case is gone. There's no record of that really. So it's all like, to me, it's a joke, and I understand where whatever people want to say and judge, that it's so funny to me that people, like you said, have this idea about how government works. Oh, their bureaucracy. Oh, police. And yet at the same time, they'll come at you and it's like, you're the living embodiment of the problems with the structure.
Yeah.
And yet people want to come at you, and they know that there's those problems. But when they finally have someone that they could attack or get attention from or whatever, they choose to be with the system. Yeah. They're like doing the cops' work.
Yeah.
They're doing the cops' work even though they were arrested for a DUI and they shouldn't have been, or they were harassed by police. They turn and become that side that they know is sometimes corrupt and dirty and that doesn't work all the time.
Yeah.
And then they come at you.
Pussies.
Why is that? Why?
Pussies, the lot of them. I don't know, man.
Well,
I don't know. I try not to pay them any fucking mind, though. Honestly, man, I try to get rid of them because, like I said, I already do it naturally enough, and I gotta ask myself. You asked earlier, why do we do that? I don't know. It just pops out, and then it's like it's. I don't know what that is, but that's why I try to spend X amount of time then talking to people that are showing love, because fuck those guys, man. Let's bound up with the people that. There's a lot of people that do understand, that have been through it, and they do get it, and they're not jealous, and because you said you're one of them, but at one point in time I'd be like, that guy's he needs some help. Yeah. He's dealing with Tommy when Tommy's doing this. That guy needs some help. Fuck him. Well, that's what I would have said about you. You know what I'm saying? That because it's just negativity. That. Not everybody talking shit. Like you said, I've seen Josh do it. I've done it to a few people myself. Like when they talk shit, confront them and give them the reasons why I do what I do. And then they're like, oh, fuck, I didn't even think about that like that. So, like, to put any exhaust or like time into those people that are talking stuff. Like you said, you thought you were smarter than him. You probably could do what he does. Maybe you're thinking, maybe whatever reason you came up with. Like these guys, that a lot of them, most of the time, it's I'll beat your ass. You try that with me, I'll beat your ass. You're saying try that with me. So do you know I don't do this to regular people, right?
Yeah.
You know I don't just go up to guys and say let's fucking fight.
You were showing me some messages that you had of people just randomly saying try that, do that with me.
Set me up.
Like a bunch of
try to set me up. I'll beat your ass, two-piece you. Like that's probably 80% of the hate is guys saying they'll beat me up or I'm whatever. So that's them. So that's them.
Out of nowhere.
So that, like you said, that's the jealousy in them of like, I can beat this dude up. Look at him. He's skinny. He's just beating these guys that are weak up. I'll beat this guy's ass. Maybe they're not predators. They're not weird. They're just guys that are like, I'll fuck this dude up. And they're just like, man, I'll beat your ass, man. And they're not even thinking about me catching predators. They're just like, this guy's getting clout, and people are saying he's a bad. Because sometimes people are like, dude, are you a fighter? No, I'm not. Like, I can fight a little bit, but I'm not a. I've never boxed.
We've seen you fight plenty,
right?
Though,
but I've never been in jiu-jitsu or anything like that. You know, I'm just a regular guy. So the guys that are maybe like can fight a little bit sometimes or whatever the case, usually it's probably not them. You know, people that are like trained fighters don't waste time messaging people. I'll beat your ass.
They don't have time to be keyboard warriors. Right.
So those guys are like just maybe, you know, jealous for that reason. And it's like, you guys are all right. You guys ain't that bad.
I think that's what
I can let you guys pass, man.
You know, but I think that's where too that people. I think people get it wrong too, just on the devil's advocate of it, that just because someone wants to critique what you do or might be jealous of you or wants some attention or thinks they can do it better than you, that doesn't mean that they side with child predators.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And I think that the struggle of the community that catches predators, you know, people had a lot of opinions about Chris Hansen. I never saw Chris Hansen come out and say, and the guy that's criticizing me on the chat right now, you're a predator because you said that.
Right.
I think people can have a fair critique about what people do.
Yeah.
And not be assumed to be
right.
Straight up, oh my God, you must be. It's either one or the other.
Right.
You can do it, but at the same time, almost all of this is bullshit that people create narratives about. You know, in the fact that you're putting yourself out there. Tommy put himself out there.
Yep.
Hundreds of thousands of people are just tuning in and watching.
Right.
And so forget even the fact that you're catching predators. Move it down to the base level of I'm watching you're doing. You know, I'm not in the P. Diddy realm of me in the corner watching while you're doing, but that is like the same sort of like you're out there doing what you need to do. You're getting a lot of love and support from a lot of people. And there's hundreds of thousands, millions of people that sit at home that are not doing that.
Exactly.
They're just watching.
Yeah,
and there are a lot of, let's be honest, lonely men that want attention from the same ladies and people that all the catchers get some attention from. And it's like, hey, there's that aspect of it. People have the opinion about the police and they think that they're corrupt and all this, but the minute they come at your neck at the same time. So it's like, wait a minute. No. And it's the same thing with Tommy. It was like, everyone called him a liar, but the minute he said something about me, oh, he's telling the truth. What did he say about? It's like, like, what is it? What world are we in?
Which one? Yeah.
You know, what world are we in today?
I went and caught this predator, and I was slapping him, and I was like, all right, leave. And like, as I like slapped him and like walked away, this guy ran down with a knife, and was like, he's like, get off him, like da da da, and I'm like, all right, this guy was trying to fuck a little 13-year-old, and he's like, all right, then let the cops handle it, and I'm like. So the cops do everything right? He's like, no, I fucking hate the cops. And I'm like, so you want me to leave it to the cops that you just said you don't fucking trust and you don't, they don't do shit right. And there's just nothing for them to say, you know what I mean? But they still say something. They're always going to say something. When I smack them, they say, you should fucking bury him. You know what I mean? When I don't smack them, you should call the police. Like, you know, there's always going to be something to say, but I don't listen to that shit because I've been doing this for 5 years. I put my fucking life on the line. Yeah. I have a friend who's, rest in peace, Bupak, who's died in the name of this shit. And this shit is realer than saying something on the fucking online. I don't got time for that shit.
Well, do you find it interesting, too, that you got all these people that say wood chipper for child predators. Yeah. But when you actually just do something, you know, pat them around a little bit, poke them around a little bit. You're not throwing anybody in a wood chipper.
Now it's called the police.
And it's like, isn't that weird though?
Yeah.
That you have this whole culture that's like, we want to throw them to the wood chipper. Everybody supports that, but you get so much hate for slapping some predators around.
Yeah.
You're not putting them in a wood chipper, are you, Jay?
Yeah, right. I mean,
I mean, people say that was why the wood chipper, was designed for predators. I have yet to see a predator go into the wood chipper.
Yeah.
Right. And yet there's this idea that you should be working with police, and you've been there, done that.
Yeah.
And the fact that we had that little, you were telling me a story too about there's a whole side of folks that kind of in this world that give you a hard time.
Yeah.
Somewhat prominent folks in your business, and you almost never respond, which I find pretty cool. Why? I mean, like, you'll respond to, like you were talking about, like the haters. Sometimes you'll pick them out, but you never really go back at some of the prominent people like Alex and Jadeon that have Skeeter and those folks that have said things on how you do. Right. Is that hard for you not to like respond sometimes? What kind of keeps your mind about you? Because they are constantly saying stuff, talking shit about you and the way that you guys catch. Yeah. And it's something I've observed about you, not just in this instance, but on general. You hardly ever respond or let it bother you at all.
Well, to be honest, man, this shit, those guys, when they do that, it's more so, it's like, it makes me smile. It makes me smile a little bit and go, them boys are thinking about me. They should be doing their job. They should be doing their thing. It's the same thing with the guys messaging me like, you should let the cops handle it. You're like, why don't you go do something? And in their case, they are doing something, but they're coming at me about how I do things. And I go, for what? And I thought about it for a while, and me and Josh talked about it. Like, why are they coming at us? Why don't they just do their thing and do their good and let us do our good or whatever? And it's because we're not doing the same thing as them. Yeah. We're doing something totally different. We got a whole different ball game. We're playing a whole different ball game. They're trying to get arrests, and that's great, and I applaud them for that. I don't want to say nothing bad when they say bad things about me, because I actually respect what they're doing. I like what they're doing. I don't respect the stance that they're coming from to me. I don't think they fucking understand or are trying to understand what me and Josh are doing, or like what we're doing it for, like, and just our mindset behind it. We could try to talk to them all day. I'm sure they've heard us maybe say a little bit about how it's not about the police, and we work with real victims, all the things we just talked about. Yeah. Maybe they'll understand, maybe they don't. But from the minute I started this, when I started this, I had a wife. She's my ex-wife. She didn't believe in me. She didn't want me to do this. She wanted me to call the cops. My mom told me to stop. Told me to stop doing this and to let the police handle it and everything like that. Some of my best friends or whatever at the time would be like, stop talking to me and be weird about it. And like you said, it's the same thing. So all these questions with people on the internet or, people that message me weird stuff, I've gotten weird reactions from my friends. Alex or whoever the fuck saying something about how I do things. I've had from the minute I've done things, people question people that I love. So that shit is just like
right, yeah.
That shit
Someone
is nothing.
That's I can't not even, your relative. Or blood.
I can't even hardly think about giving a fuck about what they're saying.
Right, yeah.
I'm dealing with this shit at home. Yeah. I'm dealing with this shit on a day-to-day basis. I'm fighting it in way different ways.
Yeah.
And I got 5 kids, and I gotta spend time with them. I gotta do shit with them, and then I gotta try to catch predators, and I gotta figure out how to be better at it and to do more. And there's so many. I could be a robot and stay up all day long and just talk to survivors and catch predators. It's a never-ending job, so I don't really have time for them. When, like I said, I like what they're doing. I respect what they're doing. They don't understand what I'm doing, maybe. They don't get it, but they'll get it eventually, or they won't. I don't know. But what I'm doing it for is bigger than the law. It's bigger than the law. This is about people that have been through some shit. I've been through some shit, and I know what it's like to come out on the other side. I want other people to experience that, just like the people that we've helped and that you have helped.
when I see you put you sometimes you ran streams where you ran Survivor streams, where you would put out and hear people's stories, and it's like, it's not the fun part of what you do.
No.
It's like the I mean, it's emotionally draining, it's exhausting, and everybody has a story that has been heard about what happened to them, but it's like their moment, and I know you've heard this many times, like. Some cases it's the first time that they've told this.
Yeah, a lot of times.
And
man.
And so it's like
shocking.
How do you have time to go and I'm not saying anything about Alex or Jadeon, but they have business operations to run, you know, with a large amount of employees.
Yeah.
I don't know how much time they have to invest in talking to victims on one-on-one. I've done that. I know you've done that.
Yeah.
And you don't make any money off of it.
Right.
I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And you don't, it's not for clout.
Yeah.
And it's not going to get you 1,000 new subscribers on locals.
Right.
And I think that, I didn't, bring in here just to say how much I respect you, but I've seen that world behind the, what you do in the front, as far as you're catching predators. Yeah. And like, the fact that you've invested a lot of time, like genuinely, not just like a 2-minute hey, but like genuinely invested in people's stories and listening to them. And you can't do it all. And at some point you got your own family, you got your own stuff going on, and you got to go out and keep doing what they're doing and catching. But at the same time, you do carve out. And that doesn't mean that, you're going to have time to talk to everyone. You can't. But in some cases in which you do have an opening, I've seen you do that. And
I appreciate you.
Doing one of these, talking to one victim for the first time in their life, they haven't told their psychiatrist, they haven't told their parents.
Right.
In some cases, it was their parents that invited the predator into the home.
Yep.
In some cases, it was the parent that was doing the abuse.
Yeah, everything.
Just talking to one victim for an extended period of time is emotionally draining, and it shouldn't be expected of any human being. And I've seen you take that burden on in multiple cases, which it's one thing fascinates me is that, and I know this is sort of personal for me, and it's also a lot of people, but I am so confused why people will go weekly or monthly to a psychiatrist or psychologist. And they've shared with me their story.
Yeah.
And then I say, well, of course you're talking about this with your psychiatrist.
Right.
No. There are so many people that are going to mental health professionals and psychiatrists that are never saying any of this.
Exactly.
And it's like, I do get frustrated with that because I'm not a trained clinician and you aren't either.
Right.
But yet you're going to train clinical professional mental health people, and you want to talk about the weather. You want to talk about who won the football game. Right. You want to talk about bullshit after bullshit after bullshit. You want to talk about how your mother-in-law is a bitch, and the wedding wasn't where it wasn't supposed to be, and the food on Thanksgiving was terrible. Get to the real stuff.
Right.
That's why I say get to the real stuff, because I know you've had a lot of people come and say, like, for the first time I'm sharing. Why the hell is that? Yeah. For the first time, something that you could get over. Mm-hmm. You can conquer it. Yep. If you would share it with the effing world. Yeah. When people come at me for sharing my story, I don't give a flying F about it, because
fuck off,
that's like, it's therapy for me. It's free therapy. For me to share it to you, and for you to judge me for sharing it, it means even more to me. Yeah. It's therapy. And and then people say, well, I need help because of my passion for this. And no, I'm the last person that needs help. I've been telling a psychiatrist since I've been 15 about what happened to me. Yeah. 14. No, it's the millions and millions of you people out there that can't even tell your psychiatrist that you pay $500 for 30 minutes that a woman or a man abused you when you were a kid. Yeah. Yeah, people. I don't want to say, it's like, if you ever want to get over all of this stuff, and then the hidden stuff that happens to people. People wonder why they're on drugs. I put a video out about Anthony Cumia. He's a conservative commentator. And people, he said he was 13 or 12. He had sex with a 19 or 20-year-old woman. Mm-hmm. And his grades collapsed and plummeted from all of that. That's really a healthy thing that should be that didn't society tell him that, like, I thought he was supposed to be pumped up because of that he was becoming a man for doing that. No, his grades collapsed. Yeah. And he never got the education or never that because he was distracted now. He was brought into an adult world as a kid. And it's like there is that times a billion. Yeah. Whether you get into drugs and alcohol, whether you get into doing crime. Yeah. And I would like to go into every jail. One thing that I'd like to do I'd like to go into every jail and every prison and say, when was the first time that you had what was your age when you had sex with an adult? Mm-hmm. Were you 20 when you had sex with the first adult who was 19? Were you 25 when you had sex with a 30-year-old?
That'd be crazy.
Or were you 12 when you had sex with a 35-year-old? Yeah. I'd like to statistically
there's so many
look
fucking
at that,
stories I've heard. Yeah.
And no, I'm not saying, hey, you don't have to be a victim. Mm-hmm. I'm not asking you to tell me. I'm not asking you to tell me that you were a victim at all. Mm-hmm. I'm not asking you to prosecute anyone or participate.
No, because
just tell me what age you were when you had your first sexual encounter with an adult. And in many cases, it's been for straight men, particularly, it's been hey, boom, at 12, at 10. Yeah. At 15, at 14, I had sex with a 25-year-old. I had sex with a babysitter. I had sex with a friend's mom. Right. For my dark underbelly world of exposing the things that people don't talk about, it's assumed that all predators are men. It's not the case. No. We know that. You know that. I went with Tommy. We caught a predator in Texas, Stephen Novotny. This guy was a gaunt-looking, like Schmeagol from Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Just nuts. This guy, look, he's going to be sentenced here in the next month in federal court. They charged him, but and he pled guilty. But and I made a comment to him. It's like, what? I mean, Tommy said, like, what kid would want to meet up with you the way you look? And I said, well, what adult would want to meet up with you the way you look? I mean, the guy, he had spectacles on. He had long, greasy hair. He was probably grifting off of his parents in their hotel room from the benefits they were getting or some sort of disability.
Right.
And it's just like, and then we had caught a few people in Las Vegas, and that was an environment where Las Vegas does not take these cases. Really? So does that mean you don't go?
Right. Do you just not go there and just let them go crazy?
Or do you put 10 catchers there and just flood them with cases? Mm-hmm. And then make, as people call, make noise that, hey, but they wouldn't take the cases. It wasn't that there wasn't, and so like Tommy gets trolled sometimes for not turning in his cases. And from what I've seen, what does not turning in a case mean? We need every single camera angle before we will even look at this. Yeah. We need every single. There were 7 people there. Yeah. There were 7 people on scene when we got. Well, only 2 of them were with us. Yeah. Well, 5 other people came up from the random that observed it. Well, we need to know their name too. Well, wait a minute. I don't know who they were because they were random. It was just me and this other person that I know were there. No, well, sorry, we're not going to take the case because we didn't get the 5 other witnesses that were there. Yeah. So. That's the type of jerk around that people don't, that I know you've seen. Yeah. I know you've dealt with.
Like I drove to New Mexico to help to catch some child predators with this one sheriff who was like, "Come on, I got the green light. Let's do it." He's like, when we met up, he's like, the decoy, the child has to be 12 or younger, and they have to say something sexual. And so I'm like, all right, we'll get it done. Get it done. Arrest him, we'll handcuff him and everything, and then he doesn't get charged because of one reason or the other. You know what I'm saying? And then we've been places where we catch a guy, the police come, they say, can't do nothing, you're not a police officer. We catch a guy an hour later in the same fucking place. He's a registered sex offender, and he's on probation, and then he goes to jail because we give the probation officer the chats. And so you're telling us to stop, we don't stop, and we catch a fucking child predator and send him to jail. Yeah. So every single which way, any message you sent me, you've not done the work I've done. You haven't been and done what I fucking done. So it's hard for me to answer anybody back.
Well, no, that's it. It's so easy to, when people put themselves out there, it's so easy to just say shit and talk shit. Yeah. And that's the barrier to say and talk shit is so reduced. But I mean, I'm really happy to hear that what we did in Nebraska was a cool experience for you, awesome. And that it was meaningful. And I told you that she has said that she hasn't had any nightmares since that she would have nightmares almost daily, where her husband would have to stay up with her for most of the night in some cases because she couldn't, 10 years of abuse. Started at 5.
Right.
And then be told by the system no. That's a case for a jury. Absolutely. How can you as one man or one woman as a detective or a CYS or CPS investigator say, I don't want, I don't know what to do with this, or he said he didn't do it. So, there's the proof. Let someone have their day in court. I would so much rather, as a victim, be looking at 6 or 12 people on a jury that finds you heard everything.
Yeah.
And you want to, not guilty because, there wasn't enough evidence or whatever. Right. Or we didn't find you credible. I would much rather 1,000 to 1 let a jury look me in the eye and say, we find the predator not guilty, versus some random detective or some police officer on the beat patrol that got the call that didn't want to do the work or was too lazy, or pension day was tomorrow or a week from now. He's got shit going on in his house and his life. Why put the people on the spot through the ringer? You were telling me a prominent person in this world had wanted to work with you. Yeah. And then a few messages went back and forth, and then a few months later, that person's talking shit about you. Right. And it's that type of stuff where, and I don't know how much, definitely reaching out to the people. The narrative is important and public relations is important. Yeah. You're not one to you don't respond to a lot of stuff because you don't have time to. And that's the thing. But I've come to the point that responding to people too also gives them more energy to create more. I've also learned that people aren't listening.
Yeah, people they're not listening.
Because they get another question.
Exactly.
They want the receipts on something. You give the receipts. They try to find a problem.
Exactly.
With the
they're going to move the goalposts.
The goal. Everybody online will. And so I think that what Josh did in that video was good. I do encourage you to do that. Pick out some comments that kind of particularly bothered you. That's a narrative that's being created, or something even that some of the prominent catchers are saying about you, and then but I think the same thing is they're not catching the same people maybe that you're catching.
Oh yeah, they're not. No, we're catching way different. We're playing a different sport. We're doing a different game. We're going on a different mission. And I applaud you for their mission and everything. That's good. Do your thing. And I'm gonna keep doing mine because this shit's never gonna stop. It's not a game. It's not really, everybody knows fuck the law pretty much. The law is it's not helping us. They're not there to do us no favors. They're not going back with those victims and giving them the time of day. Yeah. So we got to do it on our own. We got to do this shit on our fucking own, man. And we have to keep doing it. It's good versus evil.
Historical cases too. Back in the day, there was no cell phones.
Right.
I already told you that a lot of these predators don't put anything in writing. It's all, a lot of the smarter predators won't say anything. Uh-huh. And you think you're going to call them on a controlled phone call and get them to admit they can admit anything. They're going to say, I don't remember. What are you talking about? Yeah. Smarter predators get away with this much easier than dumb predators. And I think that getting to the smarter ones is the real exposure tactics, I think, that would be that you have employed, which is, people were even saying that Alex had caught recently a female predator, and she was dumb as rocks, and he caught her again the next day. Dumber than the day before. Yeah. He didn't catch, there's a very attractive, very famous 2 cases now, Brittany Zamora out of Arizona, very attractive female teacher abused a 13-year-old. Christina Formella, a teacher out of Illinois. 2 incredibly attractive, very smart female predators. Yeah. And it's I love that Alex caught a female predator. At the same time, those are the ones that are out there too. Yeah. That no one has the idea that these people are doing just as sick as perverted stuff out there that men can do. The whole idea that this is a male only problem is an issue for combating this. Yeah. Because you have everybody playing into that. You have parents trusting women more than men. You have kids that think that this is not abuse and this is good for them. Yeah. Lie about it. You have a system that's skeptical of boys reporting this. You have, all the evidence that's what evidence do you have? Which is the first thing I was confronted with. You're just saying this. What evidence do you have? Well, How?
I didn't
I mean,
record
it was
so
What did you want me to do? Record it as
fuck?
as a kid? And like we didn't have phones when I was a kid. Like
Yeah.
there wasn't Ring doorbell cameras.
Right.
There wasn't like documentation for every little thing that you want evidence for.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, I would rather a jury tell me not guilty to the predator than a detective or a prosecutor saying, I'm just not going to take your case.
Exactly. That shit pisses me off because
I'm not going to take your case.
Everybody
because I can. I'm the law here.
Yeah.
I'm the gatekeeper. I'm not going to take your
yeah.
case.
And everybody who says go to the police, they've obviously not fucking been through anything like that. They don't know anybody that has been through anything to where the police didn't believe them. They didn't get any fucking help.
Yeah.
And it's like if they would. There's no way in hell they fucking be able to have the same stance. So it's just like you guys just don't fucking know. You're fucking disrespectful as fuck. First off, for thinking and just disrespecting everybody who's done what you're trying to get. You know, what you're trying to advise is go to the police. And you know what I'm saying? That's just the whole thing is they don't do everything. They're not going to do everything right. Time and time again, they fail us. And then when we try to do something about it, they want to put little restrictions and throw us in jail and stuff like that. So this is a bigger game than law and fucking, and this is good and evil. I mean, there's some weird shit going on out here in the world, and so we're just trying to navigate and attack these fucking evil forces and stand up.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank Jay Carnicom with Dads Against Predators for coming in to the Dark Underbelly Studios. And he's invited back here anytime. We are glad he is free at last.
Yes, sir.
And we hope to see you out there on Locals is where people can find you too.
Locals and jaycarnicom.com is where I got all my videos. And
we'll post that in the description in the video. I want to thank Jay and also Josh as well, your other half, for DAP, for doing what you're doing. And keep on keeping on.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys for having me, man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.